This is the end of the Z790 season. This is the end. And as in every end of season, I like to gather all the best and most innovative components to make a gorgeous build out of it. And this year, it's all about the BTF, or Back to the Future. Cableless, cableless, cableless. And we're going to take it nice and slow for the OG geeks out there. So to make a fully cableless build, you need three things. You need a compatible chassis with the pre-cuts in there so that the plugs, who are now on the back of the motherboard, can fit in tightly and neatly into the chassis. You need a cableless motherboard, obviously, where all the plugs and connectors have been thrown on the back of the motherboard, and you need a compatible graphics card. The only thing you need to keep in mind is the fact that those BTF graphics cards are only compatible with BTF's motherboards. You cannot place them on classical motherboards. So make sure to wisely and carefully choose your componentry before throwing yourself, as I'm about to do, into a BTF build. First, a word on the chassis. I'm going for the gorgeous and imposing Tough Gaming GT302 ARGB case, which is BTF ready, obviously, but also features all the latest Type-C front panel plugs and 4 beautiful, near-silent, sturdy 120mm fans. It's easy to go around, DIY friendly with a magnet-centric approach for less screwing around. As in every single of my builds, I like to start with installing the power supply into the chassis. And this is usually not that exciting, but hold and behold for the gorgeous, shiny, monstrously efficient ROG Loki 850 SFXL Platinum. Now, I have been building for a while, but I never did see something which looked more like a jewel than a power supply. And kudos to Asus for the care of, how do you call that, the detail. Because the power supply will never be seen in your chassis. It's going to be hidden in there, but I love the fact that there's a team of engineering who actually went and carved the shiny parts here and there, made sure that all the reflection would mean it's just f***ing awesome. Most importantly, it does feature all the next-gen power plug, awesome for the 4000 and 5000 series graphics cards, and it will both fit compact and normal PC form factors. Since we're going for normal size of chassis, we do have to install the provided backplate to ensure a perfect fit. Now that it's done, let's prep the motherboard. We're dealing with a beautiful, tough Z790 BTF, which some of you may recognize since I have reviewed it in details last summer, and you should be checking if you haven't done so yet. RAM-wise, well, I'm going for the best. 4x 48GB of Platinum DDR5 yumminess for an obscene total of 192GB of DDR5 RAM, which I have stably clocked at about 6 GHz. No questions asked. And as storage goes, I'm going for an old PCIe 4.0 solutions for solid 4TB of M.2 solid state drive, which I will read in a 2x2 configuration for, well, a much faster video editing experience, because that's what this build will be doing. Again, let's take a second to note how thick and wide those thermal padded heat plates are. Pure geek pleasure. CPU wise, well, I'm going for an obvious monstrous i9 14900K for an obscene amount of performances. Now, thanks to the chassis holding plate pre-cuts, the motherboard can perfectly fit in, and the power plugs are pointing out on the other side of your build, which is, well, kind of the whole point of this video. Cooling wise, I am going with Mr. Coolness right here, the ROG Ryujin 3, which, other than the fact that it looks absolutely badass, is about as DIY as you get. The fans stick together thanks to strong, and I mean strong, magnet plates, and the entire power, RGB, PWM instructions are taken care of by a single magnetized plug. Now, that is cool. And it has importance here because the all-in-one installation used to be the most annoying, boring, and longest part of my build. And I don't mean boring, but definitely, you know, the trickiest part of my build. And with the Ryujin 3, It probably took me about 9 minutes between unboxing and getting fully installed in the casing. Also, worth mentioning, I noticed that the fan blades plastics are a bit different than usual. Without being any thicker, they feel much more sturdier than what I have been accustomed to. In any case, I am going to make a dedicated and full review of the Ryujin 3. Now comes the best part of this review, the GPU. And prepare a full set of lungs for the name. Here come the excellent TUF Gaming GeForce RTX 4070 Ti Super BTF White OC Edition, which performance-wise, well, we are in the RTX 4080 ballpark. It is a marginally watered down 4080 is what I'm trying to say. We got a solid 2670 MHz OC mode on all cores, 16GB of GDDR6X, which normally is found on 4080s and above, and all the Tensor and all the RT cores you'll need to waste yourself away on some violence-fueled rhetoric. I do need to underscore how beautifully aesthetic it is. Asus did not play around when they called it a white edition. Every part of it is snow white, to the point that I went to wash my hands before handling it, which happens occasionally when I assemble white components or after separating my chihuahuas during their intense mating season, which I just found out is about 12 months a year. I'll also be boring and mention that the TUF treatment did not only apply to the VRM, but this time to the fin array radiator as well, which has been reinforced for an increased heat depletion ratio on one hand and for rigidity on the other, in case you'd need it for separating mating chihuahuas. Say. But obviously the most exciting thing here is how the TUF Gaming GeForce RTX 4070 Ti Super, I am not going to say it all again, how the BTF GPU is powered. Here is the power plug, which is what replaced our usual power cables with it dingling out of our graphics card. Now, the installation is quite straightforward. Simply align your GPU card PCIe port to the board GPU export and slowly insert it, would say a Chihuahua in hit. Alright, I'll stop. And there, your graphics card is in place, fully powered and looking strangely awesome. And that is where things start to get awkward for us, because other than some cable management neatly hidden on the back of your case, well, we're done. Because other than good looking and gorgeous minimalistic aesthetics, the other thing the BTF brings in is how really easy it is now to assemble a computer. It took me, I mean, taking away all the filming, it took me less than an hour, about 50 minutes to assemble the entire machine. And I have to say that the comfort of assembling was nothing I've experienced before. It's as if my past 30 years of assembling saw gradual evolutions, generation after generation, year after year, to culminate into this.